And so, because what we are doing today is we're actually discussing some example and spaces where young people are already having a positive impact on their community. And that is what the three examples that we will be discussing in the breakout sessions will be about. So I'll now quickly introduce them, because we want to really, because the point of these breakout sessions is actually to share and exchange ideas with you all here, to make sure how we can use the full potential of young people in creating a green and inclusive future. So the facilitators, I will quickly introduce them. So I will ask Ana Laura to wave to the audience here so everyone knows who she is. So wave and say hi if you want to, Ana Laura.
Hi, everybody. I'm from Argentina. Thank you, Heleen. I'm from Argentina. At the moment, it's very early here. I'm a part of one of the biggest platform of small producer in Latin America, named CLAC, and it's part of the Fair Trade Organization, the Fair Trade International Organization in the world, with Asia and Africa. And I'm really excited to be here for everyone.
Yeah.
I hope we find some great solutions.
Great. Thank you so much, Ana Laura. So Ana Laura will facilitate a session on fair production and consumption. So you'll be able, if you're in her group, you'll be able to hear more from her in a bit. And then there's also Marco Elia. He's an environmental science doctor. He works with the Innovación Cooperative. And he says that thanks to the cooperation with Innovación, that he's got knowledge on the relevant and important contribution of non-institutional activities for environmental sustainability, and that he's realized the importance of local collaboration. And he will facilitate a session on or a breakout group on environmental awareness. So Marco, could you also wave and say hi?
Hello, everyone.
Really quick.
Hello, everyone. Great. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm from Italy. And great. As Heleen introduced, I work with Innovación Cooperative.
Great, super nice. So you'll be able to hear more from Marco in a bit. Thanks to both of you for being here. We really appreciate it. Some extra props goes to Ana Laura indeed, because it's so early in Argentina. But Marco, we're also really happy that you can join us. Really happy that the both of you will be able to share some of your perspectives and help us generate some cool ideas and solutions. So the third group will have to listen to me a little bit longer, because I will be facilitating a breakout session on economic democracy and cooperatives. So hope to see some of you there. Just quickly, practically, so we will be divided into smaller groups. This will happen automatically. You won't have to do anything or push any buttons to do this. When we're in the smaller groups, the facilitators will explain specifically, their topic and the links to young people, youth leading the way to a greener future, because I now realize that I haven't said the title of our brainstorming session today, although you can see it on the beautiful cover slide. So they will explain, their aspects and their perspectives. And then it will go to, then the floor is open for your ideas and your solutions to discuss together with the facilitators and the other participants in your breakout group. On how to reinforce young people's voice and leadership in the specific topic that we will be discussing. And then after 45 minutes of brainstorming, we will return to plenary, where the facilitators will present the main takeaways and recommendations in a couple of minutes each. And then Jeff, my colleague, will take over the moderation and will identify some links between the different breakout groups and see where, we maybe have some similar ideas or where the differences lie. And formulate some conclusions to end the brainstorm. So just to let you know, the technical support will give us a warning a couple of minutes before the end of the breakout group sessions. So make sure that you use the last couple of minutes before the end to summarize, all together what you've discussed and all the important insights that you've gathered. And this will help, of course, your facilitator to structure the information and make sure that us who weren't in your breakout group can also get the main takeaways and the important information, because we will only have, I think, two max 3 minutes for the conclusions per breakout group in the end. So I would ask the technical support here to put us in the different breakout groups. Great. Enjoy, everyone. See you back in 45 minutes.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to see everyone back. Are we all back? Are all the groups back? I think so. Thank you so much. I will now hand over to Jeff and share the beautiful murals.
Thank you, Heleen, and hi, everyone. For those that haven't met me, I'm Jeffrey, and I'm working within the ICAEU partnership team for Co-ops for Dev on research. And we've just come through a really, really rich discussion on the co-op table. So what we'd like to do now is essentially, in the last 15 minutes of this session, just to summarize, we've added 3 points in the conclusions for each group. So what I do is potentially just invite one by one the moderators of each session to just, you know, take a minute or a minute and a half or so, and if perhaps you could just summarize maybe 3 key points of your discussion, and we'll add that into the conclusions. So Heleen, would you like to start for the table on co-ops? I think you might be still muted there.
Yes, now you hear me? Sorry, I was great. Can everyone see the mural? And especially for now, it's important, the green tables. Can you see them clearly? Should I zoom in a little bit more? Okay, great. So what we were discussing and what we kind of found is that people-centered business models that are creating or making positive changes for the environment are attractive to young people, and they're attractive in all different ways and in all different sectors. I think we mentioned, we had a short discussion on agriculture and how let's say, young people are making positive changes there. We talked about banking, tourism was mentioned at the end, energy was also mentioned. And I think another important point that was also mentioned there is that young people like this connection to the community and to the ground, and it's not just, it needs to be driven by young people, but not just for young people. So I think that was the main things that we identified there. And then we kind of discussed how we can reach young people and how we can make them aware of all these great examples that were mentioned by the participants. And so, of course, we said that social media can be very important there, but also mentioned that it is hard to get a good reach in social media by ourselves, and that you sometimes need influencers who then don't really or are not always willing, let's say, to do this for free, or but a very important and interesting point that was mentioned there is that different consortia or different projects are in, and that is kind of also links to the third question, are working together. So the European Union is supporting different consortia to work together to expand their reach and to make sure that civil society organizations are kind of, you know, like enforcing and reposting their messages, each other's messages, so that the reach becomes bigger, and that you can kind of make sure that the positive messages and the positive examples do come out and reach young people. So that was, I think, the main point in the second one. And then, yeah, so the third point that we mentioned is, of course, that there needs to be funding with projects that respect biodiversity, and that needs to be more, you know, partnerships between, for example, cooperatives and brands that are already doing this positive work and that already have the reach, so that the messages can go out more, but also that the legal measures are needed to protect the environment, and this is including within cooperative legislation, because you know, Principle 7 is recognized by ICA and is recognized by a bunch of international. So concern for community is recognized by a bunch of other, let's say, international institutions, but it's not always recognized in laws and in cooperative laws in different countries. And so we believe that this was also really important, and how policymakers can support these types of business models, including the cooperative business model, to fulfill its potential. Thank you, Jeff.
Super, thank you so much, Heleen. I think that was a really excellent summary of our discussion. And what I've done is I've just added the 3 main points there in the green ones in our conclusion section. Brilliant. So I'd now like to ask Anna Laura, who was our moderator for the Sustainable Production and Consumption breakout room, if you would be happy just to give us a few main points from your discussion. I pass the floor.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. Here, thank you so much to Georgia, who works in the mural. And maybe the principal point here is really creates in the old change of value of the food systems and our place as young people working in the agriculture value, and how to unify this kind of the beginning of the change and the last part of the change as consumers. Maybe we believe about the different kind of platforms, no, multi-stakeholder platforms, as they say, with the private sector, the government, the organization of food systems, and really the exchange practices between global organizations, as in Latin America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and keeping in mind the greener jobs opportunity for the youth, really work in the all transitions of the food systems, as we said, could be a trigger for you to remain in the sector of the agriculture. We have so many points in the value chain to work and get involved with the youth people, using really the culture and all the environmental situation about the food systems, really talking about not only with the food, but yes, taking point of view of the ecosystems around the food system. And really we have the skills in the young people to trying to making in intergeneration knowledge sharing, no, talking with the senior and the young people, and really provide these spaces of dialogue, not only with the platform, maybe in our organization too, no. We have a really big challenge about the community based in organization of producer, how far we can go through the grassroots engagement in connecting them to access markets, no. We really believe in the platforms solutions about the same problems in around the world. Maybe Georgia, if you want to add something, because you are working with me.
No, thank you very much, Ana Laura, and thanks to the colleagues. I'm totally covered. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Super, thank you so much, Ana Laura. That was really great, a great summary of the discussion. And I've also added a few points, concluding points in our bottom section. And yes, of course, last but not least, our other table on environmental awareness. Could I invite Marco to just give us a little bit of an update on how your discussion went? What were the main points that came out? Marco, the floor
Sure,
is
you
yours.
can. Okay, well, it was a pleasure anyway, talking about this topic, and with, people that know actually what they are talking about. And I can summarize the 3 different questions, each one, by starting from the first one, we just asking, we just answer to why and how should we further mobilize the engagement of the public sector. And about why, we just decide that the only answer is because it's needed, because it's mandatory. So, I mean, we cannot wait anymore for make the change, for become awareness about environmental sustainability. So this is why. And about how, we can say that is depending, I mean, the how answer should be the different experience of each country, because manage, in our case, we were talking about waste management, which are not waste anymore, but they are source, as Daniel suggesting. And about this, I mean, it's just an overview of the different experience. We cannot provide one answer. We just have to check between all different countries, how they manage, and try to make a synergy between them. The second question was more technical, and as you can see here, we have many suggestions, with many ideas. But for summarize the answer of this question, we can say that actually the change must be performed from the young. I mean, maybe the more decision are still made from the senior, but you know, the idea of the senior is not the same, because the how to say it, the education and the way how they grown is different on the way how younger people are growing around now. I'm talking about social media, I'm talking about all the power stuff that we have and the senior doesn't have. So just use this power in the best way, just talking about social media, but also about the technological stuff and all the things that we can use in order to grow, in order to develop faster than how they developed in the past. And the more ambitious question was the last one. So I mean, my group was personalized himself in the policymaker decision, and they were right. I mean, I would like to have some policymaker that have this kind of behavior, this kind of idea, you know. Also here in my city, in which I mean, I'm from the south of Italy, and it's a stereotype. I mean, it's not true, but it's a stereotype from some reason, the way that here the stuff are going slower. I mean, I'm disappointed with that, but it's actually true. Just because of the first answer, just because the way how the policymaker senior are grown is not the same way of us. So that's why we need the young intervent, because they are used to have different life from us. I can say that it's different life. So that's why the integration between young and senior is completely fundamental for this. That is my conclusion. I still would like to thank all the participants and the EDD teams for let us join this conversation. Thank you a lot.
Super. Thank you so much, Marco. That was a brilliant summary as well of the discussion on environmental awareness. And I've added just a few points from each group. We have 2 minutes left of our session. So I just, in that remaining time, want to see if we can briefly try to summarize. It's a challenge to take in all of the great points that have been made today already. I don't know if the screen share can maybe just gradually head down to the concluding section. So I think there, you know, from the green ones, we can see, you know, really about the structural ability of cooperatives to solve environmental challenges. And I think that is something that is potentially also reflected in how they can work in transition to, you know, transparency in the value chain, linking up the different actors together, and you know, making some systemic change. So, you know, from my reading of this discussion, I think it's true that we think, you know, the time for action is now. I think climate is a really incredibly serious issue that I think young people, they recognize that, and they would like to have something different, you know. And then I think potentially the question is, how are we doing that? And I think one of the key things that have come out is that we need to reach out further, you know, with new methods of communication, you know, with new platforms, different ways, seeing if we can find cooperative solutions, and also potentially providing young people, you know, with the skills or the ability to get involved for youth cooperative entrepreneurship and to really take action on climate there, you know. And I think we, you know, both tables there, the yellow and the blue, have kind of identified the fact that young people really need to be at the forefront of this discussion. They need to be given a strategic and a genuine role in the decision making on climate action. And I think we can see also how the cooperative model can be a really key way for young people to do that. So yeah, I think that's it for me. And I think if we could also potentially now pass the floor to Christoph, who has a visual discussion, you know, a visual representation of the discussion that we've had today. Christoph, I'm not sure if you're there and you're able to share that with us and the participants.
Yes, I am trying to catch up here with what's being said. It's very rich. So you won't see me. You just see my my screen if all's well. So basically, this is what I've been scribbling away during the. Should I share my screen, or perhaps it's easier if I share it?
It's great, actually. We saw it there before.
Okay, good. Yeah, probably because I was talking. So yeah, so I've been jumping from one breakout to the other. I didn't catch much of the environmental awareness one, so I'm trying to finish that one up. So yeah, I've tried to capture the essence, and I think what came through in all the different workshops or breakouts was the act now. So I put that centrally. It's about the people, it's about partnerships, it's about reaching out and finding new ways to reach out to young people. Obviously, specific conversations in the different topics, but what really came through everywhere is yeah, that change happens by the people, young and old, so citizens, and that yeah, that we should all work together. It may sound a bit fluffy, but I'm gonna add some more detail to that and look at the murals, which are very rich. And it was going much faster than I can work, so I'll be catching up right now. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Christoph. Right, so we're just coming to the end of our time here. Perhaps I could hand the floor back to my colleague Heleen for any last words before we say goodbye.
I think you've said it all, and really great work in the conclusions and linking everything together. I just want to say thank you all for joining us. Thank you for the colleagues for providing support. Thank you for the facilitators, and hope to see you in other EDD sessions or other future sessions soon. Bye, everyone.
Hopefully in Bruxelles, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Hope so.
No.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all very much.
Gracias. Saludos.